Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Caroline, and today is Thursday, June 4th, and this is day 2 of our Catholic audio Bible video series where we read the Bible together. And this is just a perfect series for anyone who hasn't read the Catholic Bible before, is new to the Bible, would like to have Bible time, but doesn't have a lot of time on their own to read. And so that's why we have this kind of audio series where I read this. You can follow along. I'm going to put a link, and I didn't think of it in my first video for day 1, but I'm going to put a link to Amazon. And if you wanted to buy yourself a Catholic Bible, they have great ones out there. This is where I bought mine, and I keep mine pretty well worn now. And I bought one for each of my sisters. I have 3 other sisters. I bought for my 3 other nephews, and I bought for my now adult son. And so I highly recommend reading the Bible. And this new series, this is day 2. We are going to go ahead, and we're in the Genesis, book of Genesis. We are on chapters 4, 5, and 6 for day 2, and we'll talk a little bit about it after, but I'm glad that if you're listening along or following along with the video. So with that, I'm going to put my reading glasses on so that I can see it well. But let's go ahead and get started. We have chapters 4, 5, and 6 in Genesis. This is the creation series, and creation narratives, I think they call it. Starting with 4, Cain murders Abel. If you were following along since yesterday, in day 1, we had chapters 1, 2, and 3, the creation of the heavens and the earth by God, Adam and Eve, original sin. And I have the videos from now on. They will be in a playlist, and you can select the video if you wanted to go back, and then going forward you can always select different videos to watch. Okay, so section 4, chapter 4, Cain murders Abel. Now the man knew his wife Eve, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have produced a man with the help of the Lord. Next she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of the sheep, and Cain a tiller of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of the fruit of the ground, and Abel, for his part, brought of the firstlings of his flock, their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. The Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why has your countenance fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is lurking at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must master it. Cain said to his brother Abel, Let us go out to the field. And when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is your brother Abel? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, What have you done? Listen, your brother's blood is crying out to me from the ground, and now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it will no longer yield to you its strength. You will be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Today you have driven me away from the soil, and I shall be hidden from your face. I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth, and anyone who meets me may kill me. Then the Lord said to him, Not so. Whoever kills Cain will suffer a 7-fold vengeance. And the Lord put a mark on Cain, so that no one who came upon him would kill him. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden, the beginnings of civilization. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city and named it Enoch after his son Enoch. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad was the father of Mehujael, and Mehujael was the father of Methushael, and Methushael the father of Lamech. Lamech took 2 wives. The name of one was Adah, and the name of the other was Zillah. Adah bore Jabal. He was the ancestor of those who live in tents and have livestock. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the ancestor of all those who play the lyre and the pipe. Zillah bore Tubal-Cain, who made all kinds of bronze and iron tools. The sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. Lamech said to his wives, Adah and Zillah, hear my voice. You wives of Lamech, listen to what I say. I have killed a man for wounding me, a young man for striking me. If Cain is avenged 7-fold, truly Lamech 77-fold. Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son named Seth. For she said, God has appointed for me another child instead of Abel, because Cain killed him. To Seth also a son was born, and he named him Enosh. At that time, people began to invoke the name of the Lord. Adam's descendants to Noah and his sons. This is the list of the descendants of Adam. When God created humankind, he made them in the likeness of God. Male and female, he created them, and he blessed them and named them humankind when they were created. When Adam had lived for 130 years, he became the father of a son in his likeness, according to his image, and named him Seth. The days of Adam after he became the father of Seth were 800 years, and he had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. When Seth had lived for 105 years, he became the father of Enosh. Seth lived after the birth of Enosh for 807 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. But when Enosh had lived for 90 years, he became the father of Kenan. Enosh lived after the birth of Kenan for 815 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. When Kenan had lived for 70 years, he became the father of Mahalalel. Kenan lived after the birth of Mahalalel for 840 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Kenan were 910 years, and he died. When Mahalalel had lived for 65 years, he became the father of Jared. Mahalalel lived after the birth of Jared for 830 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. When Jared had lived for 162 years, he became the father of Enoch. Jared lived after the birth of Enoch for 800 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. When Enoch had lived for 65 years, he became the father of Methuselah. Enoch walked with God after the birth of Methuselah for 300 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Enoch were 365 years. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him. When Methuselah had lived for 187 years, he became the father of Lamech. Methuselah lived after the birth of Lamech for 782 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. When Lamech had lived for 182 years, he became the father of a son, and he named him Noah, saying, Out of the ground that the Lord has cursed, this one shall bring us relief from our work and from the toil of our hands. Lamech lived after the birth of Noah for 595 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. After Noah was 500 years old, Noah became the father of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The wickedness of humankind. When people began to multiply on the face of the ground, and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that they were fair, and they took wives for themselves of all that they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit shall not abide in mortals forever, for they are flesh. Their days shall be 120 years. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterwards, when the sons of God went into the daughters of humans and bore children to them. These were the heroes that were of old, warriors of renown. The Lord saw that the wickedness of humankind was great in the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of their hearts was only evil continually. And the Lord was sorry that he had made humankind on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. So the Lord said, I will blot out from the earth the human beings I have created, people together with animals and creeping things and birds of the air, for I am sorry that I have made them. But Noah found favor in the sight of the Lord. Noah pleases God. These are the descendants of Noah. Noah was a righteous man, blameless in his generation. Noah walked with God, and Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight, and the earth was filled with violence. And God saw that the earth was corrupt, for all flesh had corrupted its ways upon the earth. And God said to Noah, I have determined to make an end of all flesh, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. Now I am going to destroy them along with the earth. Make yourself an ark of cypress wood. Make rooms in the ark and cover it inside and out with pitch. This is how you are to make it. The length of the ark 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Make a roof for the ark and finish it to a cubit above, and put the door of the ark in its side. Make it with lower, second, and third decks. For my part, I am going to bring a flood of waters on the earth, to destroy from under heaven all flesh in which is the breath of life. Everything that is on the earth shall die. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall come into the ark, you, your sons, your wife, your sons' wives with you. And of every living thing of all flesh you shall bring 2 of every kind into the ark, to keep them alive with you. They shall be male and female, of the birds according to their kinds, and of the animals according to their kinds, of every creeping thing of the ground according to its kind. 2 of every kind shall come into you to keep them alive. Also take with you every kind of food that is eaten, and store it up, and it shall serve as food for you and for them. Noah did this. He did all that God commanded him. So we already see how original sin and the sins were committed back then. He's starting with Cain murdering his brother Abel. There's that famous line, I hear it, sometimes you hear it in politics and some other things. Am I my brother's keeper? That's where that comes from. So Cain murders Abel out of jealousy and his rage that his offerings from the fruits of the ground were not sufficient for sacrifice, just where Abel's sacrifices of the firstlings of the flocks, and you'll see that a lot through the Bible, that an acceptable sacrifice in the Old Testament, was the firstlings of your flocks, the first of your fruits, the first of your flocks. And so Cain murders Abel, and then God marks Cain so that no one will kill him, and he has to live with his, what he had done. And then the earth was populated with new civilization, but darkness came, the sin came. And while it does say here in chapter 4, at that time people began to invoke the name of the Lord. People started to depend on God and started to look to God, but sin overtook so many. You see that Adam and Eve had another son, Seth, and the line all the way to Jesus comes through Seth. It says that Seth was made in the image of Adam, and you will see that that line becomes down through Noah and further on. You also see a lot of, you might have heard a lot about Enoch. Not the first Enoch that we talked about from Cain, but the second Enoch that came through Seth's line. And that Enoch, after 365 years, was taken by God. There's so little that's discussed in the Bible about Enoch. That is the only reference to him, that he walked with God, that he was a good man, and that God took him. He didn't have to suffer death like we all do because of original sin. And he pleased God greatly. So we have Noah, who had 3 sons. He was 500 years old, had Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And there will be blessings through that line all the way through to Jesus. And we talk about the wickedness here of humankind and God regretting that he had created humankind. The Nephilim, you probably heard about them as well. This is where they're referenced here. They became the giants. They did, in fact, they were considered sons of God. They became the Nephilim. That's what they were called. I think they were fallen angels, and they took human wives. They had these giant children. Goliath most likely was a Nephilim. And the flood, while it did, you think, kill most of them, it says afterwards too. So there were some, Goliath being an example. And so Noah pleased God, and he was instructed by God. Noah was instructed by God to create this ark. So he was very old when he did this, but he followed all of God's directions, created the ark. The flood came, and we will talk about that in day 3. I think we'll do 7, 8, and 9 tomorrow for Genesis. But another thing that becomes important is that before, like if you consider how old people get, the oldest person probably has been just under 120 years old. I think there are some examples of men and women who have reached like 114, 115. I don't know if anybody made it to 120, but here God specifically says, after all of the lines of Adam and Eve, all of these children who grew up to young men, they were 400, 500, 700, 800, 900 years old. And when humankind became so wicked, God determined that the lifespan of men and women would only be to 120 years old. And so you can see that's where that kind of came from as well. So we'll talk about the flood tomorrow. I hope that you enjoyed this reading of the Bible. Again, I'm going to link the Amazon links to Catholic Bibles so that you can purchase one if you so choose to. We're going to continue reading through the Bible this year and make a slow journey and enjoy in the Catholic Bible. So with that, I am going to wish you all a very good rest of your day, and stay tuned for day 3. We'll go through chapters 7, 8, and 9 in Genesis and continue on our journey. Again, have a great day. God loves you, and take care.